Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet Janet Bernstein. She is a keynote speaker and best-selling author. She wrote 10 books. I can't even believe that. We're going to hear her incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I'm extremely excited about this next piece because I can identify with it. My next guest calls herself a recovering people pleaser, and I'm a current people pleaser. So I'm anxious to soak up all of her knowledge. Janet Bernstein is in the studio. She's a keynote speaker. She's written 10 books. One of them's a bestseller, at least one. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell me the journey. So you described before the show, you described your childhood was challenging.
Yeah. So anyone that's followed me for a while, I write about this in my first book, Pete's on the Floor, which, by the way, yes, I've written 10 books, but the last one's the best one. But in Pete's on the Floor, I open up a little bit and share about having a mom with a severe mental illness. And unfortunately, that resulted in us moving a lot. So I went to 17 different schools.
Wow.
And so what happened was I sort of became this people pleaser because I was constantly having to reinvent myself and walk in and be the new girl. Sure. And so I got really good at doing a little elevator pitch, even as a teenager. But what happened was over time, I started to kind of lose that magic that was me because I was so busy trying to perform and make sure that people liked me and people welcomed me. So the last few years has been kind of stripping away all of that stuff.
Well, I know in your bio you talk about burnout. When did the burnout set in for you?
So I have kind of a history of doing this pretty often. So I'm now more of a burnout prevention specialist.
I love that.
But I found myself back in a corporate role, and I kind of exited my business after 2020. I don't know if you remember what happened that year.
Of course.
And it kind of ruined me as a speaker for a period of time. And so I went and hid in a corporate job, corporate training job, and I was really, really good at it, except I got really burned out. And I started to realize that every little thing was weighing on me. I wasn't happy in my day-to-day life. I wasn't happy with even the things that used to light me up all the time. I found myself driving to work in the silence and I just knew there was something off. I wasn't really calling it burnout because I really didn't like the word, but I found a book on burnout, and when I read it cover to cover over a weekend, I was like, oh, I'm completely in burnout, and I started paying attention to those signs.
All right, we're going to pull up your website, and as we scroll on the website, this tees up your best-selling book, Let Her Glow, and I love that name. So tell us about Let Her Glow.
So Let Her Glow is the journey of stripping away all the things that were weighing me down and finding my glow again. And my glow is what I refer to as you have a glow. You talking about what you do and how you help people and showing off your beautiful office spaces and the shows that you do. That's your glow. Yeah. And so our glow is what we're called to do. And a lot of times what happens is we get caught up in this whole thing like making money or having the title or the salary or the benefits package or whatever it is. And then we look around and we realize our glow is gone. So Let Her Glow is the journey of how I figured out what was my glow, what was going to light me up again.
Yes.
And it's kind of like opening up and sharing some really hard parts, like having a panic attack in my car sitting outside of an office building.
Really?
And I don't want to be the poster child for panic attacks, but at the end of the day, like, we all have these moments where we realize something is off. Something is holding us back from glowing. And that's really what Let Her Glow is.
All right, we're going to put up the book cover so you can see this. I love the design on the book, and I want you to talk a little bit more about, like, the book came out when?
The book came out in October of 2025.
Okay.
And to put things in perspective, a lot of the people that follow me on social media, they all laugh and say, "Oh my gosh, you did all this so fast." And I laugh and say I'm a 10-year overnight success. But I quit my job on August 19th, and on October 10th, this book came out. And so I was on a mission. Not only was I going to find my glow, but I was going to make sure I inspired people everywhere to find their glow too. And that's what that book came out of.
Okay, we mentioned she's written 10 books. We're going to pull up the Amazon page so you can see all these books. We don't have time to go through all of them, but I mean, you have to be impressed with yourself. I mean, that's a lot of content.
Thank you. You know what? It's humbling to see it, because I can look back and remember exactly what season of my life I was in when I wrote one of those books. But also, some of those books are collaborative projects where I brought together different women at different parts of their own journey. So 46 women have become first-time authors through some of those books with me.
That's so rewarding.
So another part of finding your glow.
And her eyes are glowing. I don't know if you can see this, but you have found your glow. You're also a very popular guest on different television shows. We've got some video of you on NBC5, and I do feel like you have the heart of an educator. I mean, you love to help people, don't you?
I do. I'm probably a teacher at heart, and my oldest daughter is a teacher, so I think that she's sort of living that occupation for me so that I don't have to do it. But I've always known since I was a little girl that I was meant to be on a stage in some way. It started with music. I'm actually a singer, songwriter. But now it's kind of transitioned into speaking. But I really love when I look out into an audience, and I love seeing those little light bulbs go off and a woman realizing, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can write a book. I can chase after this dream, or whatever it is. And that's what lights me up.
Well, I think the timing on your book is perfect, because when I was growing up, the mantra was like, life is not a bowl of cherries. Suck it up, kid. Go to work for GM or Ford. Don't mess up, and you'll get a gold watch after 40 years. Now, there's something called a quarter life crisis, where people in their mid-20s are waking up saying, I don't like my life.
Absolutely. There's a lot of my followers on TikTok are actually millennials or in Gen Z, and they are having these wake-up calls well earlier than we ever did. And I think it's because we're finally having the conversations about toxic workplaces, about toxic bosses, about regulating your nervous system. And there is more to life than just going to work, collecting a paycheck, and going home.
Yes. Okay, we have about 2 or 3 minutes left, and so this is your stage. Give people some news they can use. If they find themselves burned out, they don't like their life, what are some steps that they need to take?
Number one, you need to unplug. So you cannot heal in the same environment that got you sick. So you've got to unplug. For me, it was a vacation, and it was something as simple as booking a few days at a beach. But I don't know about you, Jeff, but like when I get around water, just everything starts to get a little bit clearer. So disconnect and start asking yourself some questions. When was the last time I really felt like I was lit up? When's the last time I felt like I was doing something that I was called to do and not just something I should be doing? And also ask yourself, if this were your last year on earth, how would you want to spend it? Because if you're spending it any other way, you're wasting time, because none of us know when the end is coming.
I think that's your 11th book.
True story. And you heard it here first. I am working on book number 11.
Are you really? Do you want to give a teaser?
I sure will. So something I started on LinkedIn, of all places, is a newsletter called Rebellious Leadership.
Oh, cool.
And I've been writing a little bit about what it means to be a rebellious leader, and it has inspired me. So I am officially working on book 11, which will be coming out later this year.
I love that. You have to come back on my show. We're going to end with her website, which is letherglow.com. The great Janet Bernstein. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeff.
You
Appreciate
bet.
it.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time. All right, stay right